All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into HCL Technologies Ltd. They're a global IT services giant making waves globally. And you sent over a whole stack of sources, so company profiles, financials, news articles, you know the works. It looks like we're talking about a company that's ranked among the top 5 Indian IT services providers, just by revenue. And they've been around since 1999, so there's a lot to unpack here.
There is.
But I guess the big question for me is, can HCL kind of leverage its history and these recent moves to become a leader in helping businesses adapt to a rapidly changing technological landscape?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a fascinating one, especially when you consider, they've been around long enough to have seen the rise of the internet, the
Yeah.
explosion of mobile tech, and now we're kind of in this AI boom. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first, the source mentions that HCL specializes in, I'm just going to quote here, transformational outsourcing. Can you break that down for us? Because it sounds a bit like every other, corporate buzzword out there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It does have that sort of corporate jargon ring to it. But, here's the thing. Transformational outsourcing, it's more than just handing off tasks to a third party. It's about, partnering with a company like HCL to fundamentally, reshape how your business operates.
So it's not just about cost cutting, it's actually about evolving the business.
Exactly. Yeah. Think about it. It's about leveraging their technology and expertise to completely revamp processes, boost efficiency, and ultimately, drive some significant change.
But how does that play out in the real world?
Well, for starters, they've built this remarkably diverse portfolio, right? So we're talking software solutions, infrastructure management, R&D. They even have, a hand in business process outsourcing, DPO. They can kind of, adapt to different needs, different industries. This isn't just some one-trick pony.
So they're trying to be a one-stop shop for any business looking to make that digital leap.
That's the impression I get, yeah.
Okay, and their global reach definitely backs that up, right? They've got offices in 46 countries. That's impressive.
That's huge, yeah.
But let's get down to brass tacks, right?
Sure.
The source breaks down their revenue segments, and IT and business services they're the real heavy hitters, right?
Oh, yeah?
Like 72%.
Absolutely. That's a significant chunk of their revenue. But what I find really interesting is they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, right? They've got engineering and R&D services coming at 16%, and then there's that products and platforms segment, at 12%. It seems like they're deliberately diversifying to kind of cushion themselves from any sudden shifts in the market.
Yeah, that's smart, especially in the tech world, where things change so fast. Okay, time for the financial health check.
Yari.
Their market cap is over 5,015,232 crore.
Wow.
I mean, that's a number most of us can barely even grasp.
It's a big number.
It's massive.
Yeah.
But what does it actually tell us about the company?
Well, essentially it's a reflection of the market's confidence in HCL Technologies. Think about it this way. Every single share of HCL stock, all added up, that's your market cap. And a number like that suggests that investors, they're pretty optimistic about HCL's future.
All right, so investors are optimistic, but then we have their PE ratio at 30.6.
Okay.
Isn't that a little high?
Yeah, the PE ratio, or, the price to earnings ratio, tells you how much investors are willing to pay for each rupee of the company's earnings.
Okay.
And a PE of 30.6 is, it's definitely on the higher end. There's no doubt about that. And it could mean, a couple of things. It could mean that the market thinks that HCL's earnings are going to skyrocket, or it could be a sign of overvaluation. We need to kind of look a little deeper to figure that out.
And what about, their dividend payout of 87.4%? That seems pretty generous.
It's definitely attractive to income-seeking investors, and it means they're returning a large chunk of their profits directly to the shareholders.
Yeah.
But there's another side to that coin, right?
Right.
It also means that they have less money to reinvest back into the company, for future growth. Could this high payout limit their ability to kind of keep pace with innovation?
Yeah.
That's a question worth considering.
It's like they're rewarding investors today, but potentially limiting their options for tomorrow.
That's a good way to put it.
Now, here's something that surprised me. HCL is virtually debt-free.
Huh.
That's pretty rare, especially in the tech world.
It is remarkably rare. Most tech companies, I mean, they take on debt to kind of fuel growth, to make acquisitions, expand into new markets.
Right.
But HCL's debt-free status, it gives them this level of financial stability that's almost unheard of in the industry.
So they're less vulnerable to economic downturns,
Yeah.
and they have more flexibility to kind of invest in those growth opportunities
Exactly.
without those hefty interest payments weighing them down.
Exactly, yeah. They're not, beholden to lenders or anything like that.
Okay. But then the source points out that the stock is trading at 7.48 times its book value.
Right.
Isn't that a bit of a red flag?
It's not a clear-cut red flag, but it is something to examine a little more closely. So, the price-to-book ratio, it compares a company's market value to its book value. And book value is basically the value of its assets minus its liabilities.
Okay.
And a high price-to-book ratio, like HCL has, it could suggest that the market is valuing the company much higher than its accounting value.
Yeah.
Now, this could be because, they have a lot of intangible assets like brand recognition or intellectual property that aren't fully captured on the balance sheet. Or it could be a sign that, the market's getting a little ahead of itself.
So context is key.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not just about the number itself.
Right. It's about understanding what's driving that number.
Exactly.
Now let's look at how HCL kind of stacks up against its competition.
Okay. Good idea.
The source has a whole table here comparing them to other companies in the same sector.
Right.
What are some key takeaways there?
Well, first off, the Indian IT sector, it's a battleground of giants.
Right.
Everyone's vying for market share, and HCL is right in the thick of it.
Okay.
I think if you really want to understand how they're doing, you need to look at those key metrics that set them apart, right?
Yeah.
So revenue growth, profitability margins, return on equity.
Okay.
Those numbers will really tell you a lot about how they're performing compared to their peers.
And the source mentions that, HCL is part of some pretty prominent indices. So the Nifty 50, BSE, Sensex, and Nifty IT.
Mm-hmm.
Why should our listener care about that?
Well, being included in those indices is a big deal. I mean, it means that HCL is considered one of the largest and most influential companies in the Indian stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it this way. Their performance can actually sway the entire market.
Wow.
They're not just playing the game,
Right.
Shaping the game.
That really puts their position into perspective.
Okay, let's take a look at HCL's kind of recent performance.
Right.
The source includes these quarterly results tables, and I know we don't want to get bogged down in all the numbers.
Yeah.
But I did notice that while their revenue has been kind of climbing, their operating profit margin, or OPM, has fluctuated quite a bit.
Interesting.
So, in June 2022, their OPM was 21%. But by September 2022, it had climbed to 22%. So, what's going on there?
That's a sharp observation.
Yeah.
And it kind of speaks to those pressures that HCL is facing, right? I mean, the OPM essentially tells us how much profit they're making for every rupee of revenue they generate.
Right.
And these fluctuations could be due to a variety of factors, right? It could be pricing pressure from competitors, rising operating costs, or even, shifts in the global economic climate.
So what does that tell us about their overall trajectory? I mean, are they on the steady climb, or are there some bumps in the road?
I'd say it's a bit of both, right?
I mean, they're clearly a major player. They've got, a good track record of growth. But these fluctuations in their OPM suggest that they are navigating some headwinds. It's not a, simple story of unbridled success, right? There's some complexity there.
Yeah, it's rarely a straight line to the top.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of HCL's recent moves.
Okay.
The source mentions they've appointed a new senior VP and are collaborating with ServiceNow to launch AI labs.
Interesting.
Why are those developments so noteworthy?
Okay, so let's start with the new senior VP, right? Leadership changes, especially at this level, often, they signal shifts in a company strategy.
Right.
And this particular appointment suggests that HCL is really laser focused on strengthening its presence in the Indian market, which is, a huge growth opportunity for them. It's like they're doubling down on their home turf.
Okay, makes sense. And what about, this collaboration with ServiceNow to launch these AI labs? That sounds pretty cutting edge.
Absolutely. This move, I mean, it screams innovation, By teaming up with ServiceNow, and they're a leader in digital workflow solutions, HCL is putting themselves right at the forefront of the AI revolution. And these AI labs, they'll likely focus on developing and implementing AI-powered solutions for businesses across a variety of industries. Remember, HCL is all about transformational outsourcing.
Right.
Well, AI has the potential to completely transform how businesses operate. So this move aligns perfectly with their core mission.
It's like they're setting themselves up to be the AI guides for companies trying to navigate this rapidly evolving world.
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah, I think they're saying, hey, we've got the expertise, we've got the tools, and we've got the vision, to help you make the most of AI.
It's a pretty powerful message.
Yeah, it is.
So are we seeing a shift in HCL's identity here from this, reliable IT services provider to a forward-thinking innovator?
That's certainly a possibility, and I think that's what makes HCL so fascinating to kind of watch right now. They're in this period of transformation, and it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
I agree. And it makes me even more curious to, delve deeper into these sources you've provided. There's a ton of information here.
Oh, yeah.
Annual reports, transcripts from earnings calls. It's a goldmine for anyone who wants to really understand HCL Technologies.
It really is. And that's the beauty of these deep dives. We can
Yeah,
kind of highlight the key insights and spark your curiosity, but ultimately it's about empowering you to dig deeper, to draw your own conclusions.
exactly. And speaking of digging deeper, one thing I keep coming back to is that, HCL went public way back in 1999. Think about how much technology has changed since then.
Oh, yeah.
They've not only survived, they've thrived, they've adapted, they've evolved, and they've continued to grow.
Yeah.
It's a testament to their ability to kind of stay ahead of the curve.
It's remarkable, in an industry that's known for its rapid change.
Right.
I mean, their longevity is truly remarkable. The fact that they've not only weathered those storms of the tech world, but emerged as a leader, I mean, it speaks volumes about their resilience, their adaptability.
All right, I think that's a great place to pause for now. But don't worry, there's much more to come in our deep dive into HCL Technologies. We'll be back in a flash.
Welcome back. Before we pause, we were talking about HCL's move into the AI space. I think it's worth emphasizing just how significant that is.
Yeah, I totally agree. It seems like AI is the buzzword of the century.
It really is.
Like it's popping up everywhere you look. But why is this move such a big deal for HCL specifically?
Well, because AI has the potential to revolutionize the way businesses operate, from automating those mundane tasks to analyzing mountains of data to personalizing those customer experiences in ways we never even thought possible.
Right.
By establishing these AI labs, HCL is signaling that they want to be the go-to company for any business looking to harness that power of AI. It's a bold move,
Yeah.
but it's a smart one.
It's like they're saying, hey, the future is here, and it's powered by AI. Come along with us, and we'll show you the way. It's a far cry from the image I had of them before we started this deep dive. That reliable, but maybe not so exciting IT services giant.
I get it. I mean, they've been around for a while. They have solid reputation, but they haven't always been seen as the most cutting edge or innovative player in the game.
Right, exactly. But these recent moves, especially with AI, it paints a totally different picture.
It does.
They're not afraid to embrace those new technologies and really push the boundaries of what's possible.
What I find fascinating is that HCL is essentially betting on the future. They're investing heavily in AI now, even though the full impact of this technology, it might not be felt for years to come.
Yeah.
It's a long-term strategy, but one that could have, massive payoffs down the line.
It's like they're planting seeds today that will grow into a whole forest of opportunities tomorrow.
hmm
But let's not forget, we've only scratched the surface of the information you've provided. There's a whole mountain of documents in this stack.
There is. We have annual reports, transcripts from past earnings calls. I mean, it's an absolute treasure trove of information for anyone who wants to really deep dive into HCL technologies. It's all there for you to explore.
And that's the beauty of this, isn't it? We're here to kind of highlight those key insights, spark your curiosity, but we also want to empower you to dig deeper and make your own discoveries.
We want to equip you with the knowledge to ask the right questions,
Yeah.
to make those informed decisions, and to truly understand the complexities of a company like HCL Technologies.
It's about giving you the tools and the confidence to explore on your own. And speaking of exploring, one thing that really struck me was looking back at HCL's history. They went public back in 1999. I mean, think about it. The internet was barely a thing back then.
Huh.
Yet they've managed to not only survive, but thrive through all the technological upheavals since then.
It's incredible. It's a testament to their ability to, adapt and evolve. They've weathered the dot-com bubble, the rise of mobile, and now they're positioning themselves for the AI revolution. That kind of resilience is rare in the tech world.
It makes you wonder what's next for HCL. They've got this solid foundation in IT services. They're making these bold moves in AI, and they seem to have this knack for staying ahead of the curve. What's their next big play?
Well, if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, we see a world that's becoming increasingly reliant on technology, right? And businesses everywhere are searching for ways to innovate, to automate, to become more efficient, and that's where I think HCL comes in.
Yeah.
They're not just offering solutions, they're positioning themselves as that trusted partner, that can guide businesses through this complex and ever-changing digital landscape.
It's like they're saying, look, we've seen it all. We've been through the ups and downs, the boons and the busts of the tech world. We know how to navigate these choppy waters. So let us help you steer your ship.
Exactly. And that message, I think it resonates deeply with businesses today, especially with so much uncertainty swirling around those emerging technologies like AI.
It makes you wonder, could HCL become more than just a leader in IT services? Could they become the go-to company for helping businesses adapt and thrive in a world that's being, reshaped by technology?
That's the question we need to consider, and it's a question that we'll keep circling back to as we continue this deep dive. Remember, we're trying to uncover that story behind the numbers, the strategy behind the moves.
Right, right. You mentioned earlier that you had a thought-provoking question for our listener, something to really make them think about HCL's future. What is it?
Well, we've discussed HCL's focus on transformational outsourcing, the recent investments in AI, and their impressive track record of adapting to change. So the question I pose to our listener is this. Given all of this, could HCL be positioning itself to become not just a leader in IT services, but a leader in helping businesses adapt to a rapidly changing technological landscape?
That's a fantastic question. It really challenges us to think beyond those immediate details and consider HCL's potential role in shaping the future of business. It's not just about what they're doing today, it's about where they're headed tomorrow.
And that's what we want to do here at the deep dive, right? We want to spark your curiosity, we want to give you the tools to think critically, and we want to empower you to explore these complex topics in a meaningful way.
We're not here to just throw facts and figures at you.
Uh,
We want to leave you with that sense of wonder,
mm-hmm.
a desire to learn more, and a deeper understanding of the forces that are shaping the world around us. And I think we're doing that today with our deep dive into HCL Technologies.
I agree. HCL is a company with a rich history, a bright future, and a lot to teach us about that evolving relationship between technology and business.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that often gets overlooked. The people behind the scenes. We've talked about HCL's financial performance, their strategic moves, their position in the market. But what about the employees, the people who are actually driving this innovation and growth?
That's a crucial point. We often get, so caught up in the numbers, the strategies, the big picture stuff, but it's the people who make it all happen.
Right.
It's the engineers, the developers, the designers, the strategists. They're the ones building those solutions, forging those partnerships, and pushing HCL forward.
Exactly. And it seems that HCL understands this. I noticed in their annual reports and announcements, they consistently highlight their commitment to employee development, training,
Yeah.
well-being. It's not just lip service. They're investing in their people.
And what's interesting here is that HCL seems to grasp that in a knowledge-based industry like IT, their success really hinges on the skills and the motivation of their workforce. It's not just about having that latest technology. It's about having the right people to wield that technology.
It's like they're saying, if we want to be a leader in innovation, we need to invest in the people who are doing the innovating.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, technical skills either. They also emphasize things like, leadership development, creativity, and even emotional intelligence. They're really trying to create this culture where employees feel valued, supported, and empowered to do their best work.
And that, in turn, creates a ripple effect, right?
It does.
Happy employees lead to happy customers, which leads to a thriving business.
Yeah.
It's a virtuous cycle.
It does seem that way.
Yeah.
And it's a lesson that more and more companies are starting to learn, Investing in your people is not just a feel-good initiative. It's a smart business strategy.
Absolutely. All right. I think it's time for another quick pause. We've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive, but there's still more to explore. We'll be back shortly to wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts on HCL Technologies. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into HCL Technologies. As we wrap up this exploration, I can't help but feel this sense of optimism about HCL's future.
Yeah, I'm with you there. They're a company with, a strong foundation, a clear vision, and a commitment to their people, all crucial ingredients for success in today's, rapidly changing world.
And they're not afraid to embrace those new challenges,
No,
right?
no, no.
As we've seen with their investments in AI and their focus on transformational outsourcing, they're constantly pushing the boundaries and trying to reinvent what an IT services company can be.
They seem to have this innate ability to adapt and evolve, which is, essential in the fast-paced world of technology.
Mhm.
Just look at their history. They've navigated the dot-com bubble, the rise of mobile, and now they're positioning themselves for this AI revolution.
Yeah,
It's remarkable.
it really is. And it makes me think back to that question you posed earlier about whether HCL could become more than just a leader in IT services,
No.
but a leader in helping businesses adapt to, a rapidly changing technological landscape.
Right, and as we've explored their various initiatives, their financial performance, and their strategic moves, I think the answer is becoming clearer.
So what's the verdict? Do you think HCL has what it takes to become that guiding force, that trusted partner
Mm-hmm.
for businesses navigating the complexities of the digital age?
I think they're well on their way. They
Yeah.
have the experience, they have the expertise, they have the vision, and perhaps most importantly,
Yeah.
they have the willingness to embrace change and push the boundaries of what's possible.
And that's what makes them so exciting to watch, right?
Yeah.
They're not content to simply ride the waves of technological change. They want to be the ones shaping those waves.
Exactly. And that proactive, that forward-thinking approach is what sets them apart from many of their competitors.
It's like they're not just playing the game, they're rewriting the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And in a world that's being disrupted and transformed by technology at an unprecedented pace, that kind of, bold thinking is essential.
Absolutely. So to our listener, we hope this, deep dive has given you a richer understanding of HCL Technologies.
Yeah.
We've explored their history, their financials, their strategic moves, their culture, all those, pieces that make up this fascinating and complex puzzle.
Yeah, I think, we've tried to highlight those key takeaways, those thought-provoking insights, the things that really make HCL stand out in such a crowded and competitive landscape.
But most importantly, we hope we've, sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to keep exploring. Because the world of technology is vast and ever-changing, and, companies like HCL are leading the way.
They are.
So keep asking questions, keep digging deeper, and keep an eye on HCL Technologies. They might just surprise you.
You never know. You might even find yourself inspired to join them on their journey to, shape the future of business and technology.
That would be quite the adventure. All right, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into HCL Technologies.
It has been a fascinating journey, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into, a different company or industry. But until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.
And remember, the world is full of, fascinating stories just waiting to be discovered. So go out there and start digging.